Alright, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Wahat, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, chiefly those of Great Millstone, and other like-minded elders in Israel that do teach well, by whom I learned this truth, through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom, wa Barakim, unto the hopeful elect, brothers and sisters scattered throughout the four corners, doing their due diligence, in all truth and sincerity, and salutation to the Akim laboring, ministering week in, week out, the highways and hedges, giving up their body as a living sacrifice unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai in all truth and sincerity. Right. So Brother Daniela, just real quick lesson I want to bring out in the spirit. Going off the back of I was watching a podcast last night, and you got a lot of these podcasts now where, you got the men set up against the women, and a lot of the true nature of women is being revealed. It's being revealed. And what I wanted to go into today is in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, 23rd chapter, right? Because in this day and age, in this world we live in, right? First of all, single mothers are elevated, right? Elevated, so much so to the fact that, for you to be a single mother is actually is glorified, man, to where it almost surpasses a household where there's a mother and a father. A single mothers get more praise than a household where there's a mother and a father, and that's crazy. That shows how far we've come away from righteous order, man. How far we've come away from our power, right? And the point I wanted to go into today is that because now, single women or single mothers are being so elevated and praised and glorified on a level like that, women are becoming less shameful, less shamefaced, right? But when we go back to the scriptures, understanding that everything we read in the scriptures, all these things were they were written aforetime for our learning, right? And how things were set up in the ancient days are not the way that things are set up today. Matter of fact, they're the total contrary to the way things are set up in the ancient days, right? For instance, now, you're a single mother, right? Which you understand, again, it goes back to the curses, Deuteronomy 28th chapter, to where a man shall leave his wife and his children, right? What? Single parent households, right? But Esau have also made sure that it stays that way, having done a diligent search, having seeked out all the ways to continually keep us in that cycle, right? Taking the man out of the household, giving the woman free aid, government help, state help, right? And then giving our women this illusion of that they're strong and independent, which is just that, is an illusion, right? But the point I wanted to make in this on this lesson, right, is that if you're a single mother, right, and fair enough, your situation is your situation, right? I'm not gonna judge so much so in that sense, because again, we're under curses and we've been ignorant of certain things, right? But what takes it up another level is to where now you might be a single mother, and you might be a single mother with 2, 3, 4, 5 different baby fathers, man. You might have 5, 6 different children from 4, 5, 6 different men. And that's crazy, That's crazy. In the ancient days, that would have been looked at as crazy. Matter of fact, it would have been frowned upon. But now those women in that state, right, guess what? They're elevated. They're actually glorified, man. And that's insane, man. And we understand everything is out of course, man. Every single thing is out of order and is out of course. But I just wanted to make the point of, the scripture says, seek ye out the old paths, right? So us as men of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Lord willing that we are those men, right? Our minds are meant to be thinking in an ancient way. And any real man in his right mind, first of all, he's gonna desire a virgin, right? If he's honest with himself, right? And the last thing you're gonna want is to get with a woman that's got multiple children by multiple different men. And that's just a fact. That's the cold hard truth of the matter. Now, a woman might not necessarily see it that way, because society and Esau Edom have put her on a pedestal. And it doesn't matter how many bodies a woman's had especially in the Western Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere, man. Over here in the West, women are elevated for having multiple body counts, man, for having slept with dozens and dozens and dozens, even hundreds of men, to where now you find yourself with two, three, four, five baby fathers. And I've actually heard women argue and say, "Oh well, I've only got two baby fathers," but that's crazy. For you to even think that in your mind that that's okay, or if that's in any way, shape, or form orderly or righteous, right? And again, everyone's got their own situations, and certain things happen the way they do, right? And that's just what it is, because at the end of the day, we can never figure out the mind of Yahweh Shemel Shai, right? You might have a woman that's got three baby fathers, right? And one of those baby fathers happens to be in the truth, right? Now what? Now, those children brought forth by that particular man, guess what? Those children that he may have had with that woman, they might be part of the 1/3, man. They actually might gain salvation and be saved in the time of Jacob's trouble, man. So again, I'm not trying to figure out the mind of the Heavenly Father, but the point is that us referring our mind back to the scriptures, meditating on the word of Yahweh Shem Shai, we're going to be thinking and acknowledging the ways of old, man. Right? And I want to bring this out because this is how they acknowledged it back then, for you to be a woman and have multiple baby fathers, right? So this is a Lord willing, a lesson that's exalting, edifying, and comforting in some way, shape, or form. So this is Sirach, or the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 23, verse 22, right? Straight to the point. It says, "Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband, and bringeth in an heir by another," right? And we understand that sex is marriage according to the scriptures, right? So understanding that, the first man that a woman lay down with, right, and consummate, those two flesh becoming one, right? The man going in unto her. Guess what? Now that's your husband. In the eyes of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, now that's your husband. That a lot of our women don't know that, they don't understand that. First man you lay with, that's your husband, right? And we understand that if a husband and wife are to break up, right, basically, then what? That can only go by the means of a woman's husband dying, right? That she can now find another husband, or if a man give his wife a bill of divorce. That's the only way a marriage could be ended, right? If your husband die, if you're a woman, or if as a husband you give your wife a bill of divorce, that's the only way, right? So it says, so it shall go, so thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband, right? So this is under different circumstances. This is a woman that's just going to leave her husband, right? And we see that on a high level today, because most divorces are initiated by the woman. That's a fact. There's stats on that. You have to take my word for it. You could check out the stats. Most of the divorces that happen in the world are initiated by women, and obviously for many different reasons, right? But a lot of women are just leaving their husband for stupid reasons today. It says, "Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband and bringeth in an heir by another," meaning you've left your first husband that you might have had children with. Maybe you didn't. Now you've met another man that had children with him. Or maybe you did have children with your first husband. Now you've left your husband, met another man, and then had children with him. And so on and so forth. You proceeded to leave men, get with another man, and have children by them, to where now you find yourself with 3, 4, 5 different baby fathers. And this is not a rare thing within our nation. When it comes to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, especially the Southern Kingdom, man, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, it's very prevalent among our people, man. That a woman may have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 even different baby fathers, and the numbers can go up, right? But what it says, "For first she have disobeyed the law of the Most High," right? And secondly, she have trespassed against her own husband, and thirdly, she have played the whore in adultery and brought children by another man, right? It says, for first she had disobeyed the law of the Most High, because I believe it's in if I'm not mistaken, I think it's in Leviticus where it says that a woman desire shall be towards her husband, right? In other words, you're gonna marry a man, meaning you're gonna lay down with a man, right? Now that becomes your husband, right? Or that becomes your wife. Now, guess what? You have to remain with that person forever, right? Even in the world, what they say, when they're committing their vows, till death do us part, right? Exactly. Because a woman can't leave her man until he passes. She can't get with another man, right? And it's only one man a woman's ever meant to be with, right? And what's crazy or what's wicked even, should I say, is that guess what? A lot of women are not stupid and they know that within their self, within their spirit. They know that really they're only meant to be with one man. And that's why you ask women, majority of women, their body count or how much people they've slept with. They don't want to tell you or they won't tell you because they're ashamed. Now, it's different to a man. A man will actually be honest and happily tell you how many women he's laid down with because it's not the same, right? Men and women are different and we operate differently on different levels, right? And a woman is meant to pertain unto one man her whole life. That's the way it was set up from the Heavenly Father. That's the true order of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Now we know, living in this day and age, it's contrary, man. It's so far away from what we once held righteous, man. Now for you to actually have, guess what? For you to stay with one man, be loyal and respectful for one man is actually looked down upon. And that sounds crazy to even say. But what a woman that's had a lot of bodies, a lot of experience, right, concerning men, have multiple baby fathers, that's praised, that's elevated, that's even glorified, man. Which is sickening, really. It says, well, first she have disobeyed the Lord the Most High. Secondly, she have trespassed against her own husband. Because why? Because if we understand that the first man you lay with is your husband, and now you leave that man and get with another man, guess what? You're still married in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. Whether you see it that way or not, because women get through so much men in this day and age that they don't perceive it like that. First of all, they don't know that sex is marriage. They don't understand the first man that they laid with is their husband. So understanding that, we understand that everybody has committed adultery, really, on a level. Most people, man. Most people, all of us, really, if you check it out. Obviously, being ignorant to certain things, the Heavenly Father have winked at our ignorance, right? But now having this understanding and our minds being reverted and us remembering ourselves, our minds are meant to be coming back to the ancient way, man, considering the old paths, So it says, and thirdly, right, she have played the whore in adultery. See, exactly. Everyone's basically been an adulterer or adulteress, man, knowingly or unknowingly, But for that behavior to be praised and glorified, of you being a woman having 2, 3, 4, 5 different baby fathers, man, that's crazy, man. Especially when you revert back to the scriptures and how we dealt and how we operated in the ancient days, man. Even now, even in certain traditions, in certain cultures across the world, it's still frowned upon for a woman to have more than one baby father. That's not normal. That's not normal in certain traditions. Where over here in the Western Hemisphere, that's become normality. It's not frowned upon. It's not looked at in any way. Matter of fact, women can proudly profess that they got 3, 4 different baby fathers and feel no way about it, man. It says, she have played the whore in adultery. She brought children by another man, right? And that's what I'll be honest. That's what And I'm speaking personally. Now, not to put my business out there like that, but the woman that I'm with now, right? Understanding really, you check it out on a deeper level. She's someone else's wife, man. This is what's crazy. Obviously she was single at the time that I got with her, so now she's therefore my wife in a sense, right? But she has a child from a previous relationship, where in the ancient days, me in my right mind, right, I wouldn't have took her on, man. She would have been looked down upon in the ancient days. Matter of fact, men would have stayed as far away from that as possible. Because why? Because men would have been in their right mind and they would have been seeking out a virgin, preferably. Just like today, like I said, all men preferably would desire a virgin or a woman that's been untouched. If they're honest with themselves anyway. Right? But that's few and far between in this day and age, in the time we're living in the places we're living in, man. right? And Satan, Esau, Edom, right, aka the so-called white man, has made it, uh, uh has put plans into place to make sure that that don't happen on a large scale, man. Like I say, he's elevated now that in strong so-called independent woman that's got 3, 4, 5 baby fathers, and he's made that the standard. Like I said at the beginning of the lesson, now those households that do have a mother and a father in, they're not even glorified to the level that a so-called single mother is, man. Right? Or a woman that's got multiple baby fathers, man. Right? It says, verse 24. Salakia start verse 23 says, for first she had disobeyed the Lord the Most High, secondly she hath trespassed against her own husband, and thirdly she hath played the whore in adultery, and brought children by another man. She shall be brought out into the congregation, and inquisition shall be made of her children. You see that? So in the ancient days, they're actually going to pull that woman to the side, take those children that were born outside her first marriage, which is meant to be her only marriage, and now she bear children from another man, right? And those children go and have an inquisition, man. You see that? And that's the orderly way of doing things. Now we know that in this day and age, and obviously this ain't our kingdom, right? So that's not really gonna be what did Paul say? He said that all things are not I forget the word he used now, Salakia. But the point is that it wouldn't be wise to do that right now, because obviously Esau have set up certain laws and certain parameters that we can't go by unless we be punished by it, man. And wisdom's gonna make us understand that, right? Nonetheless, this is the way that it would have been done in the ancient days. It says she shall be brought into the congregation, and inquisition shall be made of her children, meaning she would have been brought out to the congregation, the village, whatever have you, and everyone would have been pointing fingers like, she's got more than one baby father, right? It'd have been made a big deal about, but now it's not made a big deal about. Matter of fact, they're praised, man. Matter of fact, the woman will proudly profess that she has 2, 3, 4, 5 different baby fathers. Proudly, no shame at all, right? And that's way left. That's quay left, as people would always say, man. That's quay left, And I'm saying all that. Like I say, this lesson is, I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite. Lesson to myself first and foremost. I'm with a woman that has a child from a previous relationship. But honestly, as a man speaking, I'll say to any man that is seeking a woman, right? Preferably get yourself a woman, a virgin. Now I know it's easier said than done, because if that was the case, I would have done the same, right? But my point is that if you can, try not to get with a woman that already has children by another man, because it opens up a whole lot more than just the scriptures obviously doesn't go into it like all the reasons why, right? It went to some of the reasons why, but there's a lot of things that filter into that, man. There's a lot of things that filter into it, whether that be you not being able to discipline that child like it was your own. There's so many factors to it, right? The best thing to do really is stay away from that. Get a woman that hasn't got children, so therefore you can give her her first children, right? It says she shall be brought out into the congregation, and inquisition shall be made of her. Her children shall not take root, and her branches shall bring forth no fruit. She shall leave her memory to be cursed, and her reproach shall not be blotted out, man. So even when she's gone now, dead and buried, guess what? They still gonna remember that woman, right? For being a whore, man. For having more than one baby father. This what? She gonna be frowned upon, And today is not like that, man. Today is far and far, far away from that, man. You women are super proud, super wicked, And like I say, I'm not saying it's like men have not played their part in this. Men have played a big part in it, because what do they say? Women are the whores and men are the whore makers. And the scriptures talks about whoremongering, man. So the men don't go away innocent of all of this, right? But the point I'm making is that you women that are proudly profess this shit, right? And continue to make the same mistakes, continue to lay down with different men, leaving your husbands, laying down with different men and creating lives, man. You should be ashamed, man. And I know this lesson ain't gonna sit well with a lot of people, right? this lesson ain't gonna sit well with a lot of women and a lot of men too, because they gonna feel ashamed that they'd have a woman that may have 2, 3, 4 different baby fathers. And again, like I said, we can never figure out the mind of the Heavenly Father, so everything is meant to happen for a reason. Now, those children that you may bring forth with the woman that has children from a previous man may be of the 1/3 man and may receive salvation. And Lord willing, they do, if that's the case, if you're a sincere, true-hearted believer, man. But this is just something I was meditating and watching that podcast yesterday, so I thought, at the end of the day, we can revert everything back to the scriptures because everything pertains to the scriptures, right? So I thought I'll bring that out. So Lord willing, the lesson was edifying, exalting, and comforting in some way, shape, or form. To the next one, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Habanawa Yahweh, Alahayanawa Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Waharaka Kadash. Shalom to the house of David and the elect. Shalom.